This is a training video for the McNear website going over how to upload the shape and administer the shapes pages. So there's two different layouts for shapes depending upon the information available. So one is like this, where it's two column, and there will be lots of information over here. Another one is like this, where there's no information and then there's 4 across. So let's take a look at the back end and how these are uploaded and then administered on the page. Just a side note, because I'm realizing I didn't say it, these layouts are automatic. So if you pick a shape that has this kind of information available, it's going to turn into a 2 column. If you pick shapes where this information is not available, then it will be 4 across. So, kind of like I've said before, my preferred method is to deal with images first. So if you are going to be making changes to a diagram image, I would just go to the library before going to brick diagrams. And then I would go to the size and shape diagram folder. If you are replacing something, then I would select it and upload the new file, which is a procedure we've talked about before. If you are adding a new one, then just make sure you've got this folder selected and add new. One thing I will say about sizing these images, as we replace them with the final ones, these are all getting sized at just the 3000 by 3000 that you've given me, and then are getting sized down. We'll talk about that in a different video. I'll show you how I'm making those. Because it's just a line drawing, that still makes them pretty small, and so that's fine. But we do want to keep these all at the exact same size so that they keep to scale. So once I've done whatever updates I need to do here, let's go ahead and then go to the brick diagram section. So that's where we're going to create an entry for them that we can then position on a page. Let's go ahead and look at one that might have some actual information on it. So here's the title, and that title is going to get used here, center C. And I'm realizing I did not pick one with all the information, so actually let's go to Jumbo. That is better. And this one looks like it's the 1 inch. I mean the standard. It's under the header standard. So I want Jumbo standard. Okay. So this is just where we're going to be pulling the image from. So if I updated the image in here, that'll reflect here. That's fine. This is keep in mind we're using this shapes, this diagram for all kinds of product types. So sometimes there can be questions in here that don't apply to all product types. And so then we'll have our girth here, the size group depicted. So some of these fields we're not really using anymore. So when we started making these pages, we wanted these to be automated pages. And the further we got into the project, the more changes were requested about how these were ordered. And it just got to the point where this just couldn't be automated. It's just impossible. So ultimately, when we launch, we can probably get rid of some of these. We can probably get rid of the color because we're not going to be showing the diagrams by color anymore. And we're not going to be doing organization automatically anymore. So after you deal with the image field, you don't really need to worry about anything until here, until brick size. So that's where you get into all of this stuff. And so that stuff will be included. So basically worry about these fields, worry about these fields. Probably this through this is going to go away because at this point it's not being factored into the administration. Now let's look at the actual shape page. Like I said, we turned it into a manual process because the requirements kept changing as far as the order. So if I go to edit page, and I scroll down, and I'm going to see some fields. And so basically, how we're administering this at this point is that, my bad, let's view page. Is I've got a heading name, and then I can pick the shapes I want to see under the heading and in the order I want to see them. So standard, standard, and then square, rectangle, jumbo, flagstone. Square, rectangle, jumbo, flagstone. And then it automatically just pulls that content from the diagram entry. And it's that simple. I can add this. Basically, each of these is a layout. So I can add another row if I wanted to. I can reorder these if I want to. I can reorder these if I want to. So let's go ahead and just add a row so that we can kind of see that. So sample group. Right now I've got all the shapes in here. And that can be a little overwhelming, so if I know that I'm on the walls page, and so this might be one good reason to, do I still have that open? I do. So that might be one good reason for us to at least keep this products field here, because then we can at least shorten that list a bunch. And then so if I was doing this for a walls page and I said, like, I just want to see walls, and I just want this one, and this one, and this one, and oops, you know what, I want this here. And I updated it. And I go scroll down. Now here's this new section that I added. Sample group. And then if I wanted to update any of this information, I would do it in each of the respective diagram entries for the shape. If I needed to add a new shape, I would click Add a New Brick Diagram. It would give me an empty view, and I'd do the title. I'd add the image, which hopefully I already put in my media library because that really is just the easier way to do it. Likely this field will be gone and this field will be gone, and we'll just go straight to products. I'll say which product it is for ease of filtering when I'm building the page. And then assuming I have some of this information, I'll put it in. And that's it. In a different video, I'll show you how I'm making those diagram images. I'm not resizing your images, but I am aligning them to a specific point on the canvas. So we'll look at that. But that's the end for the video here about administering the shape pages. One more thing, actually, if you feel you need to add a shape page, I just wanted to show those fields show up when I select template shapes. Okay, and now we're done.